Vitality is our ability to have spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical bliss. Some call it paradise. We call it a game.
Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So, what I got for you today is actually a clip. The brother Malcolm Jamal Warner is actually going viral because of his thoughts on the Roe v. Wade decision and saying that it is about white survivalism. And so, in support of his thoughts on that, he actually posted a clip of Jane Elliott talking about it. And so that's the clip I'm going to share with you guys. And then we're going to come back and really talk about this issue. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. Hold on.
People are really frightened. If you don't understand the destruction of Planned Parenthood offices, and you don't understand the wall that we're going to build on the southern border of the United States, you haven't read the book, The Birth Dearth by Ben Wattenberg. Ben Wattenberg was a brilliant Jewish man who was a member of the American Enterprise Institute. And he wrote a book, the first paragraph of which says, the main problem confronting the United States today is there aren't enough white babies being born in this country. He was an advisor to presidents of the United States. He wrote the book in 1987. He says if we don't change this and change it rapidly, white people will lose their numerical majority in this country, and this will no longer be a white man's land. Now, I'm not misrepresenting this. I'm telling you almost exactly what he says. He says there are three things we can do to solve this. Number one, we could pay women to have babies, as they have been doing in Western European nations for years. Then he says, and these are his words, not mine, unfortunately, we would have to pay women of all colors to have babies, so we don't want to do that. He says the second thing we could do is increase the number of legal immigrants that are allowed into this country every year. Then once again, he says, unfortunately, the vast majority of those going to come to this country today are people of color, so we don't want to do that. The third thing he says, and women had better pay attention to this, 60% of the fetuses that are aborted every year are white. If we could keep that 60% alive, that would solve our birth dearth. Does that sound like racism to you?
Okay. So you heard Miss Jane Elliott talk about it. And for a long time, Jane has been one of few white people to talk about white supremacy and white survivalism is really what it is, in sort of a really frank kind of way. She's been more or less honest about what it really is about. And so there's a lot of folk that don't like her for that. So, but what she basically talking about is the long-standing and pervasive thought about what white survivalism really is, and the fear of annihilation that they have of their race genetically. They fear a genetic annihilation. Okay. Now she's talking about a book, The Birth Dearth, that from what everybody's saying is going around, costs around $500. The ISIS papers explains this quite successfully and in a way that people can really understand in layman's terms, and it doesn't cost half as much. So you can go right on Amazon, right, and pick it up. If you haven't, it's not a Kindle book. You have to get it as a physical book, and or search for it at a bookstore or what have you. The ISIS papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, who speaks extensively in the book about white genetic survivalism and all that they have done in order to stave off what it is. And they fear genetic annihilation, first of all, because it's possible. They fear it because it is a technical possibility. Like they can be breeded out. Okay. All they got to do is keep mixing with people. This is why miscegenation laws were what they were. This was all about the survival of them. This is why they be preaching, a pure race, an Aryan race, and we got to keep it pure, and everybody should keep the races pure. Like they're saying, don't cross the fence, because if you cross our fence, we're in trouble. We're not going to be here genetically anymore, and that's problematic to them. So the fear of the genetic annihilation is paramount. And it is this fear, and I need y'all to really listen to this. It is this fear of genetic annihilation that has been the driving force behind every single decision that we've ever seen when they colonized all across the world, the transatlantic slave trade, all of the things that came after Reconstruction and the Jim Crow and all of that, every single thing up until last Friday, Roe v. Wade being overturned by Supreme Court of the United States, has been about white survivalism, all of it, because you got to think about it. They got to be in power in order to preserve themselves, because if other groups of people, melanated people, are in power, melanated people aren't going to be thinking about the genetic survival of white people. They're not going to care. Now, it's not going to be something that anybody does intentionally. It's just going to happen biologically. And that's what white people know. That's what they know. They know that. They know they're in trouble. They know they're the worldwide minority. They know that, like, in the world population, they're a minority. So when this was the behind colonizing everybody. This was what was behind that. They can't go nowhere and be peaceful with nobody, because being peaceful means that you're ingratiated into a culture and people, you know what I'm saying? You're living and you're mixing, and we don't gotta separate. We don't gotta do all that. See, melanated people ain't worried about that. Because if I get a melanated person from Brazil and they hook up with a melanated Chinese person, trust me, there are melanated Chinese people. Trust me, there are Chinese people with skin as dark as mine, and they Chinese. They not half nothing. They Chinese. We ain't worried about it. The only difference is cultural and nationality. But we ain't worried about it because we both melanated. The child gonna be what? Melanated. And the half and half is just gonna be a nationality / culture split, but not a genetic one. Right? So we have to understand who we've been dealing with, okay? They gotta be in power to establish how they're going to keep themselves alive, all right? Because they really worried about it. Like they legit worried about that. Like, and we may feel like that's ridiculous, but they legit worried about it, like on a whole, right? So they got to be empowered to do things. And what power means isn't just monetary power and stuff like that. Power, in this case, true power, is the ability to initiate a bioculturon event if necessary and then maintain the change. That's power. Power, I'm going to say it again. Real power is the ability to initiate a bioculturon event and then maintain the change after. What is that? Bioculturon, we're going to read it again. The trifecta achievement of the synergistic effect of biology, culture, and environment as they simultaneously interact to produce the energy needed for a transformation, regardless of the outcome being good or bad. Okay? That's power, to initiate it and then maintain it afterwards. So we as Black people can't be jumping on a bandwagon, just like specifically Black women. Y'all can't be out here jumping on a bandwagon about, our rights is being taken away because of Roe v. Wade. We can't be jumping on no bandwagon for the reasons that are given to us through media. Okay? Because those are not the reasons. They want everybody else to fight for their genetic survival, but they can't say y'all got to fight for our genetic survival. They can't say that because that sounds stupid. Okay? It sounds crazy. So what they got to do is they got to couch it in this other stuff. It's a legal situation. It's a ethical situation. They can't tell you what to do with their body, blah, 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 which they not trying to tell nobody what to do with their body except for white women. They trying to tell white women, you can't abort these babies. Okay? You can't do it. Because we need our numbers. That was for them. Planned Parenthood was a eugenics program. The whole concept behind eugenics is to suppress the genetic power of melanated people so that they can genetically survive. Y'all got to understand this stuff. So I don't know why black women are out here talking about a Margaret Sanger eugenics program and why they want it. Okay? You can't keep doing that. You got to be smarter than this because their fear of genetic annihilation is not new. It is not new. It has been the driving force, like I said, behind every single legislation, every policy, whether it was a legal policy, a social policy, everything that they done put in schools, everything that they done socially engineered through cultural avenues, all of that type of stuff. All of it has been about we got to survive. And it doesn't matter to them whether the threat of that survival is real or imagined. And it has not only been the catalyst and the driving thought and force behind all of these policies, but it has also served as the justification for every atrocity that they have committed also in the name of, I'm just trying to survive. Right? It has been, like I said, and will continue to be the justification to commit atrocities the world over. Because they'll cannibalize if they have to. Ukraine and Russia, anybody. Okay? Everything is okay. Everything is justifiable. Everything is right when you put it into the perspective of, I'm just trying to survive. What wouldn't you do to survive? You see what I'm saying? So in that mindset, no power is too much. No atrocity is too horrible. No, you know what I'm saying? War is too brutal. No decision is too harsh or too unjust. None. Everything is justified. Everything is everything. Okay? You got to understand it from that perspective. And when you understand it from that perspective, then you get to understand, you truly begin to understand the concept of the bioculture. You really begin to truly understand the concept of the workings of biology, culture, and environment, and the things that tie those things together. Right? Only issue is lifting the abortion ban can backfire on that very genetic survival, but they ain't have no choice. And the reason why I'm saying it could backfire is because if black women would get their head out of their collective butts, we could actually surpass them genetically just by having the babies that you would have aborted. Marry before you carry and have the babies that you would have aborted. Stop having hot girl summer and city girl summer and all that kind of stuff. And marry before you carry, get right, get a husband, start a family. And in a generation, we've outnumbered them. In a generation, we've outnumbered them. But if black women don't get their head out of their collective butt, we ain't going nowhere. So it actually could backfire because we can outpace them. We're actually naturally more fertile than them overall. Even with some of the pervasive health problems that black people have, even with the obesity, it's a lot of fat black women that's fat because they had a bunch of kids. And it don't matter if she's 200 pounds, she can get pregnant right now. She's fertile. See what I'm saying? Anyway, before we sign out of here, I want to draw everyone's attention to the petition that we have against Black Lives Matter organization for the theft of the $90 million donation that they received, that they did not give back to the Black community in any significant way. So the link to that petition is down in the description box. So please sign, share, and contribute to that petition if you can. Also, sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.